Down goes Frazier.
She looked like AC Green, yeah. Booch don't call here anymore. Yo, so I was singing at the beginning of one of my videos, like I do every now and then, and somebody got upset about that. They were mad and triggered. I don't know what to say about that, y'all. There's so many uncharismatic, boring people in this boxing niche. I'm gonna be me. If it upsets you, if anything I do upsets you, y'all, I'm at the arena in San Diego training basically every single weekday. Feel free to hop in the ring with me. I will take any and all complaints about my personality, but you gotta glove up and see me in a ring about it. You gotta survive at least 3 full rounds, and you gotta let me record it. But you're welcome to tell me in person exactly how you feel. It's easy to act tough and act crazy behind the screen. You know, you're plugging on your phone. But dang, I can't sing. Y'all don't want to let nobody live. Dang. I don't know what's wrong with people, man. I'm here to talk boxing. I cannot be a therapist to a world full of broken little boys. Y'all, time to man up. Anyways, what's up, y'all? This is Hot Boxing Minute. Your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst back at you with that uncut real as only I know how to bring it to you. July 15th, this weekend, this Saturday at the Masonic Temple in Detroit, we get the return of Alycia Baumgardner. And man, how could you not like Alycia Baumgardner? She is like a marketing dream. Not only is she the undisputed super featherweight champion of the world for women's boxing, but she's also well-spoken. She's very charismatic. She's a model. Man, she is as fine as all outdoors. It makes talking about boxing, specifically women's boxing, so much easier when you have a spokesperson like Alycia Baumgardner. She got knockout power. She's beating up chicks left and right. Who doesn't like that beautiful combination of brains and brawn and beauty? Oh, she's fighting Christina Linadartou this weekend at the Masonic Temple out there in Detroit. Her goal is to avenge her one singular loss on her otherwise perfect record. She is currently 14-1 with 7 knockouts. The only woman to have ever beaten her is Christina Linadartou, and this was early on in Alycia Baumgardner's career. So all eyes are going to want to watch this one. Christina Linadartou wants to become the undisputed champion. Alycia Baumgardner wants to prove that she is everything she says she is, and that is all that and a bag of chips. So will Alycia Baumgardner get her revenge on Christina Linadartou, folks? Or will Christina Linadartou upset the apple cart? Let me know in the comments section, y'all. Let's chop this one up. You know, Alycia Baumgardner has definitely been one of those pivotal key faces that has helped bring women's boxing into the forefront of boxing culture. I don't know why it has taken so long for women's boxing to evolve relative to women's MMA. The marketing is a little bit different. It's huge over there in the UK, which is odd, you know, that it's so big over there. You had women like Cecilia Breckhouse and, of course, Katie Taylor. And for some reason out here in the U.S., it has been slow to catch on, even with Clarissa Shields being the most heavily decorated women boxer of all time. Still can't get butts inside seats in these arenas, even though she just did in her last homecoming fight out there in Detroit. She put thousands of people in those seats. But we're still behind where MMA is at. As far as boxing goes, we're still behind where the rest of Western Europe is, especially the UK. They're so far ahead of us. Why are they so far ahead of us when it comes to women's boxing? You tell me. I don't know what the answer is to that, folks. It's an interesting contrast of styles between Alycia Baumgardner and Christina Linadartou. We know Christina Baumgardner, who trains out there with Tony Harrison, the former 154-pound champion, who many say is the most technically adept of the 154-pounders. He just has a bit of a cardio problem, which has plagued him in the past. He's fresh off a crazy stoppage loss to Tim Tszyu. But either way, Alycia Baumgardner is very athletic, very technically sound. She fights well behind her jab. She has crazy amounts of power. In her last fight, she did show she might have a bit of a gas tank issue, but she still got the clear win against Elhem Mekhaled. And now she's got Christina Linadartou. The only person to have ever beaten her in the past, Christina Linadartou, is a very classic pressure fighter. She throws volume. She stays in your face. She makes it very uncomfortable. So it's a very interesting matchup because Christina Linadartou stepped away from the boxing game to help take care of her child. She ended up having a baby. Well, she's back in the game as adamant and as determined as ever, and Alycia Baumgardner wants redemption. What a great contrast of styles. How do you think that fight breaks down between them two this weekend out there in Detroit? Let me know. It's a fun matchup. Ultimately, I think that the time outside of the ring has not been favorable to Christina Linadartou. We technically have not seen her really active in the ring. Her last fight was, let me see here, was January, February, March, April, May, June, July of 2022. So it's been almost a year. Prior to that, she had 2 years out of the ring inactive. So activity hasn't been in her favor. When it comes to the fight game, the activity or the lack of activity can be detrimental to you, even though stylistically, when it comes to very technical fighters that have a lot of athleticism like Alycia Baumgardner, the answer is massive amounts of pressure. It's always going to be a pressure fighter, especially if you got a little bit of pop. And Christina Linadartou, she does got some pop. She's not a crazy knockout machine, but, she does got enough pop to keep another fighter honest. So it's a fun matchup. Definitely. You folks are going to want to watch it. I'm favoring Alycia Baumgardner to win by decision. I think it's going to be a real tough fight for both of them, but I'm leaning in favor of Alycia Baumgardner on that one. The other cards that are going to be cracking off on that fight list at the Masonic Temple, let me see. We've got Jamarco Holloway versus Angelo Snow, Jericho O'Quinn versus Carlos Mujica, Jermaine Franklin versus Junior Anthony Wright. Junior Anthony Wright stepped out for some unknown reason. He had to pull out of the fight, so I think Jermaine Franklin is still looking for an opponent. He might pull out. The Mark Castro, the hot prospect from Fresno, was supposed to fight Gonzalo Fuenzalida. He has pulled out. So the undercard before Alycia Baumgardner, Christina Linadartou is Andy Cruz versus Juan Carlos Burgos. And that's going to be an interesting fight. Andy Cruz is making his professional debut this weekend. Andy Cruz is the Cuban two-time Olympic gold medalist. So he's kind of in the vein of Vasyl Lomachenko in that regard for being a two-time Olympic gold medalist, or, Clarissa Shields, what have you. But Andy Cruz was the guy that Keyshawn Davis could not figure out in the amateurs. So he's like the boogeyman in that regard, but things are different in the professional ranks. Regardless, Andy Cruz is making his pro debut. He is being trained by Bozy Ennis. That's Boots Ennis' father. And he's fighting Juan Carlos Burgos, the tough journeyman from Tijuana. He once challenged Devin and Dream Haney a few years back. Juan Carlos Burgos has never been stopped in a fight. So automatically in his professional debut, if I'm not mistaken, Andy Cruz is going a full 8 rounds, which is pretty unheard of for a debut. You normally want to start at 4 rounds. So this is the test. How does Andy Cruz's skill set transfer over into the pros? Boxing community, how do you think Andy Cruz performs in his first professional outing against Juan Carlos Burgos? Let me know in the comments section, y'all. Let's chop this one up. I got high hopes for Andy Cruz, but I'm very aware of Juan Carlos Burgos. My coach grew up in Tijuana, although he trains now and trains fighters out of San Diego. Juan Carlos Burgos has come up to my gym and camped there for previous fights in the past. Whenever he fights in the States, he comes over to my gym and camps out. So I know Juan Carlos Burgos by sight. He knows me. He's a very, very solid dude. Like I said, he has never been stopped. This is such an awesome test for Andy Cruz. Maybe we'll get lucky and see some spectacular magic on Andy Cruz's behalf. If Andy Cruz gets that stoppage against Juan Carlos Burgos, we know that Andy Cruz is going to be an official professional fighter. I think so. If you get a stoppage over a guy like Juan Carlos Burgos in your professional debut, that means you are not to be taken lightly, especially given the fact that he has 2 Olympic gold medals and he's training under Bozy Ennis. So this is going to be fascinating. But that's all I have, y'all, on that card out there at the Masonic Temple this weekend. It's going to be on DAZN. Some news today in the boxing world. Shakur Stevenson has formally petitioned the WBC to get a crack at Devin the Dream Haney's WBC strap, and at the same time, obviously, the undisputed straps that Devin the Dream Haney has as the undisputed lightweight champion. Now, if you didn't know, Devin Haney made an offer to Team Shakur Stevenson about a week ago for a 75-25 split, which is the minimum split. Of course, Shakur Stevenson was not feeling that offer. So by going the mandatory minimum route through the WBC and petitioning them, he has at minimum a 65-35 split. That's how the bylaws, as far as I understand it, with the WBC work. Now, they're in a free negotiation period right now. They have not been given a 30-day deadline yet, which they will soon. Should Devin the Dream Haney and Shakur Stevenson not come to a financial agreement during this free negotiation period, they're going to go into the 30-day period, after which point they're given that deadline, that 30-day deadline. That's when it goes into purse bid. And at that point it goes into purse bid, they auction up that fight to the highest bidder. Could be a rival promotion company, could be some rich investor, could be a Saudi oil billionaire. We don't know. But the purse bid only has the potential to increase or decrease the size of the overall pot. It doesn't affect the financial split. So as it stands, as far as I understand the WBC bylaws, it's 65-35 right now, A side in favor of Devin Haney. Now, Shakur Stevenson could push the issue with the WBC, at which point the governing board of the WBC will look into Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson's comparative earnings and gates and all that stuff from their last few fights, their attendance, what it was they got paid, what the viewership looked like, and then it could potentially make a different split. It could go as high as 55-45 in favor of Devin, 60-40 in favor of Devin. In a very rare case, it'll be 50-50. I'm not sure if it'll go 50-50 because Shakur Stevenson technically doesn't have any straps in the 135-pound division, and he's only fought one person at 135, that Yoshino fight, his last one. So, interesting things at play. Devin Haney and Bill Haney have also spoken about how they're looking at possible fights at 140 for Regis Prograis' WBC strap. So, fascinating stuff going on with Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and possibly Regis Prograis. But that's what's going on from what I saw in the news today. Anyways, I'm going to end the episode on that one, folks. Let me know in the comment section what you think about Alycia Baumgardner fighting Christina Linadartou and the professional debut of Andy Cruz. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment box. Hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Are you not already pressing follow? Anyways, this is Hot Boxing Minute, folks. The future of boxing analysis on YouTube and TikTok. Peace.